Okay, so I'm doing a quick video. Thanks to all the videos I watched on YouTube. I thought it'd be nice to return the favor and give a little review on the soft case for the Horton Storm Crossbow and the Vendetta 2, the AccuDraw system, the Horton Stone, and the Dedd Sled 50. So first off is the case. Nice case, soft case, doesn't do anything for the scope, doesn't do anything for the Vendetta 2. Those you're just going to be real careful with because the case zips fine and everything, but it sticks up. It does have a hole here. You can put the butt of the crossbow in, but again, doesn't do too much. Anyway, moving on to the, I guess, Leupold. A couple things on this. One is the mounts that come with it are not going to work for the ProView scope that I have with the Horton Storm, and the reason is it's just it's too narrow here for the mount. So there's a guy who sells on eBay a mount that slides under the scope. You can buy for 50 bucks or something, 49 bucks. I didn't want to spend the money, so all I did is I took here on this one and I just, like a bandsaw, basically metal blade, shortened it, as you can see, and it came out fine. It could fit here. Another thing you could do if you really want to get fancy, you could cut off this here and here, and then right here you could TIG weld that on there. And basically, I measured it, you would still clear this here. It would bring in the whole Leupold closer, which I would like personally, and at the same time it would solve the problem that you have with it not fitting on there. So the hardware they come with the Vendetta, great for compound bows, really not so great for this. Also, I think Leupold really messed up. If you look at their adjustments here and here, and also here, there's no markings, there's no click adjustments. It's all Allen wrench, and as you can tell, a laser at 40 yards, the slightest movement, and you're way all over the place. So I don't know what Leupold was thinking. You're trying to adjust this thing. Good luck. The slightest movement, and you're all over the place. So it does going to take some time to adjust. You can do it. It's not so fun. It would be much easier if Leupold actually did what all the other crossbow and compound bow manufacturers do, and actually have click adjustments on their sights and rests, etc. Make life a lot easier. Also, when it comes to sighting this thing in, they have a long list of instructions and a paper to put out there. When I went to sight it in, I didn't bring the paper. I forgot about it. I had everything else in my mind. I got there, and the archery people were kind of like, yeah, it's a little bit overrated. Basically, you want to keep the laser as close as you can parallel to the 20-yard dot on your scope. Don't put it right over the 20-yard, but a little bit close to it. So what you're looking for is at 70 yards, you don't want the laser to cross over your pins. And it only goes 70 yards anyway, as far as the sighting goes. So, as long as it stays parallel for the most part, 70 yards, keep it right on that 20-yard pin, it's going to be fine. At least it was for me. And I sighted it all the way into, 45 yards, and it was dead on, even with bag targets, higher up targets. And that's pretty much what we did when we sighted it in. So I don't know what all the hype is about measuring. We didn't need to. It worked just fine as long as we made sure the laser didn't cross over the pin at 40 yards plus. So these are Butler Creek. This is a 16. This is a 15. You can find those on Amazon if you're wondering about that. The AccuDraw system works good. I don't like the fact that you have the crank, unlike the Nitro, made by Tenpoint as well. The crank actually fits under here. In this one, you have to put the crank in your pocket. So there is no crank place to put the crank. Other thing is, if you see up here, a little bit of fraying. I found out that when I was cocking it back, when you get to under here, it's very easy when you try to take this off for it to rub against that. So the key for that is you always want to push back this way when you're cocking it. So that's pretty much how that goes. I would like to see it lay somewhat level when you have the quiver on there, it always likes to fall on the on the cam, which I don't really like. It'd be neat if they could keep it somewhat like that. Other than that, it's a little heavier and a little louder than as advertised. I mean, they say it's 7 point something. It really comes in once you get the scope on there, and you know, whatever else, little stuff, maybe some dampeners and stuff. It's not the lightest bow compared to some out there, but it's probably one of the nicest. I would like it a little bit quieter, so I would recommend getting some limb dampeners. They're not that expensive. I'll probably put some on mine. Going on to the Dedd Sled 50. This is the one you can use on here. I'm not a big fan of the price point for something that's all plastic. This is all plastic. This one at least has metal on it. No bearings, just flat metal rods in there with a sleeve, and then basically lawnmower cord with plastic handles. For that, for $59, they're making a killing on that, and we're getting ripped off. So anyway, that's what I think of the Dedd Sled 50. It's worth 20 bucks. Just $59, $60, no, I don't think so. The Storm can use moon knocks, in my opinion. Moon knocks basically I think might even work better. The OmniNock system is basically a glorified flat knock system. When I went to the archery shop, talked to the guys, the professionals, again, they said the same thing. You know, it's a little bit overrated that it has to have the OmniNock. Moon knocks, I shot through it just fine with the Carbon Express. 420 grain, I think, total weight, and it performed flawlessly. In fact, I actually liked it better than the OmniNock. So don't feel like you have to do that. That's just my opinion. Don't quote me on that. But anyway, I think that's everything I saw on that. The draw does take a long time with the AccuDraw. It's not a slow process. So if you want something faster, definitely get it with the built-in Dedd Sled 50, and don't even worry with the AccuDraw. The other thing about the AccuDraw here, pull this up, you can see you have to kind of work it around all your hardware before putting it on. And when you're operating it with one hand and a camera, it can always fly back. So I just got it in the dry fire. Anyway, so that's how that goes. I am a little bit concerned that the line here, which I'm guessing has a 500-pound tensile, just based off my experience with high quality lines like this, should have a cycle life on it, and I'm a little bit concerned how many times you can use this AccuDraw before they recommend a duty cycle on that, replacing that the AccuDraw line, which isn't in the instructions. Nothing said about that. So I think that's everything I have there. The other thing is that I'm going to add one more thing about the scope is I don't recommend the ProView scope. It's nice, it's illuminated, but the downside is there's no speed adjustment. So I was dead on at 20 and 30, 35 yards, etc. At 40, 45 yards, my arrows were coming in perfectly centered, but 4 inches high. And that all came down to, as we were discussing this with the archery shop, speed. There's no speed rating on this, so there's nothing I can really do about that. Unfortunately, I would go with a Hawk or something that's got a nice speed adjustment on that scope. So I think that's it. Feel free to ask questions or leave comments. Thanks.